Hi, everybody. It's me, Kelly, again with my next topic here. And today it's all about taking responsibility. Now, we've worked through forgiving, right? This is so important, why that was the first step. And coping skills and mechanisms, because our path is a journey and we need to be able to cope and deal as we go through this process together. So that stuff you're working on, that's always going to be there. You have the tools now. Now, now we're getting into the nitty gritty of what we need to do for ourselves to live that full contentment in our lives. And on taking responsibility, this is a big piece of it. We've spent our entire childhood probably feeling like we were, you know, oppressed, repressed, or abused, or something in our lives that was thrust upon us. As children, we often feel that. There are many cases where this isn't true, obviously, where there are perfectly happy, normal childhoods. But I'm talking about the folks that have dealt with stuff right now. And this is why you're reading this book, so that you can deal with that stuff, so that you can move forward and have a really awesome life despite the fact that those things happened. But by doing so, we need to talk about taking that responsibility. Because once you turn 18, once you turn 21, once you get out of school, even when you're in school, you learn that you are responsible for yourself. You learn, and hopefully your parents are teaching you this, that your responsibility isn't just for you anymore. It is also for the people who care about you and how it affects them too. Okay, so it's a delicate balance of wants and needs. What do you want in your life? What you want to do in your life? I am a big kid. I know this. Sometimes I act younger than my daughter, but I know that I'm responsible for her, right? So I have to, my choices in life, they also need to be choices that I can live with, and choices that are still beneficial and healthy for her to be around. Do you see? So it's really, really important to strike that balance between wants and needs. Sometimes we get so stuck in our need mode, right? We need a roof over our head. We need a job so that we can pay for those things, those lovely things that we'd love to have around, for food and for nourishment. Those basic needs, those are so important. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? So I want to really make sure to say that, because I'm a dreamer and a schemer. But taking responsibility is also saying, you know what? I can dream, I can scheme, but I know my responsibilities all at the same time. So this is what we wanted to talk about here. I cannot help but think of the song Because of You by Kelly Clarkson. Because when she wrote that song, when she recorded that song, that was probably during a time in her life where she had to express that anger and frustration of things that were thrust upon her as a child. And because of you, I couldn't stray too far from the sidewalk. Okay, the lyric is really a poignant lyric. And I can identify with this lyric. I can identify with this song. But there becomes a point when I became an adult of legal age where you go, okay, that may have been true, but now I need to make choices and decisions for myself to better my life. What do I want? How do I want to be? Those experiences that I experienced taught me to be who I am, taught me what not to do, and it taught me what to do. So awesome. I love that. That's what life is. It's learning from those experiences. But we take responsibility for it. So when I talk about taking responsibility, this isn't as serious as you think it is. This is called coming up with that lovely balance of needs and wants. What does Kelly want? What do you want? What do you want? Does what you want affect somebody else in a way that um, will harm them? Is what you want a positive, empowering, wonderful thing that will also be a great beneficial thing to the world around you, your community, for example, you are responsible for you. Stop playing the blame game after a while. You have to take that reign. You have to say, hey, I know that happened. That shit happened. And that ship has sailed. Now I've got to figure out what it is I'm doing, how I want to be, who I'm going to be, and make choices on that. Make those responsibilities happen. Make that happen. So you are responsible for that. And choice is awesome. So when we talk about choice, okay, sometimes we go, oh, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be what my grandmother was. I'm going to use that as an example because that's what happened with me. But you use your own sentence. I'm like, you know what? I need to turn this around and make it a positive statement. It's like, you know what? I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to go for a walk today. That's a positive statement. That's the way it was said, and the tone and the inflection. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to write this book. You're going to do what you want to do too. Okay? All right. So that's a really, really important piece of it, is to turn it around and not make it a negative thing and make it a positive thing for you when you talk about what choices you make and what responsibilities that you are being responsible for. You are the only one who decides what's right for you. Okay? So nobody else has the right to make those decisions for you. There are people who like to give you free advice. I get free advice all the time. And you know what? I know it's with good intentions. I know it's information. I've learned to accept that, again, accepting people, accepting and appreciating what it is. What it is just information. It's information, it's resources. So I get information from friends, from family, from Facebook friends, from people all around, giving me feedback and information that I can either choose to use or not. But you are really the one to make that choice. Nobody else can do that for you, okay? What you decide is crucial to how you go into your life. And this is such a cool thing. I don't know how I come up with this stuff sometimes, but this is how I equate choices. You know how a sculptor will have a mold of clay, right? And say he or she is, I'm going to say he because why not? This is for men and women. This isn't just a female empowerment thing. This is a person empowerment thing. So every choice you make is like that sculptor taking a little bit of change and manipulating that clay so it turns into something else. And whatever choice you make manipulates your life. So you make a choice, and that's how your life is going to veer to. You make a choice over there, that's where your life is going to veer to. That sculptor chose to, let's take a little piece off the side to make a curvature there to maybe look like a shape, like a head or a body, because he wanted to manipulate it in that way. So your choices, it takes on its own energy, it takes on its own path. So being really aware of it and being mindful of the choices. Okay, what am I doing here? What if? Okay, be careful with the what if situations. What if I get this? What if? What if you're just really successful with it too? What if we're always so worried about failure? There's no room for failure here. Failure is not anything. It's just a step back so you can take another step forward. It's okay, that choice may not have been a good choice. Okay, so I need to reflect as to why that wasn't a good choice and figure out a way to do it again and keep trying. Failure is not an option when it comes to this sort of stuff. To rebuilding your life, it's basically just a sidestep. And then you can move forward again. There is no such thing as failure when it comes to, shaping your life. Your life is meant to be jagged. You're not going on a straight path. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes we take some side steps. Sometimes we do a box step. Sometimes we do the cha-cha. But then we start moving and walking, and then we start moving in the direction we want to go. But we do it, and we can do it. And those things that happen, well, they're going to happen sometimes. I know. Believe me, I know. But I want you to understand this about choices. Whatever choices you make, if somebody else says, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And your choice is not a choice that is going to harm anybody or hurt yourself, and you're still getting this kind of negative feedback from someone, you might want to rethink that relationship. There's no room for anyone in your life who is going to give you that kind of negative impact and stop you from living. Because essentially that person has got his or her own problems. You might want to rethink that. Don't judge them for it, because I guess, sometimes people just are that unhappy. They just want to see other people unhappy, kind of thing. They don't want to see other people succeed and move forward. So they might sideswipe on purpose. Who knows their reasons why? It doesn't matter their reasons why, but you have the choice to say, "You know what? I like you, but you're not helping me." You may want to rethink that relationship. If someone is judging you for a choice that you've made in your life, chances are that person isn't exactly a positive influence on your life and a friend that's true and will simply accept you for who you are. And that's a really important thing, okay? So just choose wisely the people you keep around you who can help you and grow, okay? So we talked about taking back our reign in this, taking back the reins, taking responsibility for ourselves. That's really super important. Okay, when we talk about taking responsibility, that person has his or her own issues, obviously, right? You're not responsible for that person. Okay? You're not. You are absolutely not responsible for how someone responds to you. That's person's. You know how they say, "Not my circus, not my monkeys" kind of mentality? It's kind of like the same thing here. This you can apply right here. Look, I'm expressing to you what I want to do, what is important to me in my life right now. I would really like you to be on board with this. And if that person or a family member or a significant other is in any way reacting in a way that you did not expect to react, then you may want to have another sit down and have a conversation with that person again if that person is really important to you. But you need to stand up for yourself and what you want in your life too. If that person's reasonable and willing to grow with you, then that's good. Remember, how you present what you're doing is just as important as to what it is that you're presenting. You know what I mean? How we say something, which is part of our communication topic, is just as important as to the content of what you want to express. Like, I want to write this book and I want to sing, and how is this going to affect my family? And most of the time, most of the things that I do have no effect on my family whatsoever. This book may, because I'm speaking specifically of my personal experiences, and, you know, I'm trying to tread carefully and respectfully on the rights of my family members as well. So I'm going to talk to them about that. You know, that's important. All right. But how they respond and how they react, and if you've given your best effort in how you present the information and they still are being very resistant to you, or they start yelling at you, or they just get really negative, and then that's not you. That's that person's fears and anxieties and anything that's that's their circus. Okay? So just to keep that in mind, okay? So I'm going to go down here because it's already, I don't want to be too long with these vids because I really would rather you read the story. And, but I want you to understand something about taking responsibility and making choices is that it's okay that you're not perfect at this. It's okay to make the mistakes. You're human. You know what I mean? So I just want you to really just accept yourself for being just who you are, and it's okay. And I have some tools that I'd like to share with you when it comes to taking responsibility for yourself and for your actions. And you're going to need a pen, and you're going to need a piece of paper. First thing you want to do is write it down. What am I responsible for? Okay? Write it down. Really see it in black and white. Okay, I'm responsible for, my home, my child, my roof over my head, my food, whatever it is, write it all down. Also, write down what you're not responsible for, other people's expectations, etc. Once you write it down, read it, say it out loud. Really, really get it in your head. This is what I want. Make sure that what you are responsible for is also including your wants and your desires too. Like, I'm responsible for my own happiness. That's a really good sentence to write down and to look at it every day. Put it on your refrigerator. I am responsible for my own happiness. Nobody else can give that to you but you. Okay? So that's a really good thing. One thing that I picked up in human services when I was working in a locked unit is we had to do a contract for safety with some of these kids, which means making a contract is basically verbally saying, this is what I'm not going to do. This I'm not going to do that again. This is what I'm going to do instead. This is a verbal agreement to yourself. It can be a written agreement. You can write this down too. It's really just kind of putting it into your brain that you don't want to make the same mistake twice, right? Make mistakes. Mistakes are meant to be tools to help you in growing. But to improve on that particular thing, write it down. I'm telling you, it really helps a lot. I'm like, this is what I'm not going to do. This is what I am going to do. I see my error, and this is what these can be applied to anything. And I am running out of time here. I really would love it if you would just hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that share. I really want you to be happy in your life. I want you to get as much from this as I can give you, and I hope that this helps you. And there's more to come. Thank you for taking the time today to listen to me talking about taking responsibility. And moving on, we're going to talk about communication. So this is a really big topic, and it's probably going to take 2 videos. But it's a big one. It's important. So you all have a beautiful day, and remember what you're responsible for. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. Have a good one.